Can your diet improve your immunity? Is it possible? Welcome to the Fabulous Health Show. I'm your host, Terry Chrisman, and I'm a whole foods plant-based nutritionist. And this show gives you the tools to help you obtain optimal health so that you can live a long, happy life and age with grace and vitality. I go live every day at 10 a.m. US Central Time, and it's November 2021 if you are watching this later. I'm going to go live every day until November 19th. So I've only got a few days left. And then after that, I'm going to go weekly. And I've got some fantastic guests already lined up for you. So stick around for that. After I do this live, I load it up to all your favorite podcast platforms. So just head over to fabuloushealth.net and click on the podcast tab, and you will be able to sign up directly to your favorite platform right there. I just want to take a second to thank everybody that has downloaded the audio versions, and thank you to everybody who's been watching on Facebook. Unfortunately, Facebook doesn't give me any metrics me how many people have been watching. So if you do watch, just give me a hey, how are ya, or something, so I know that you've watched it, maybe a little thumbs up or a little love heart, and then I know how many people are actually watching the Facebook lives and also the replay. So thanks so very much. All right, I've got a disclaimer for you. I'm talking about scientific stuff. This show is for educational and informational purposes only. The information shared today is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any disease and should not take the place of personalized professional medical care. Please consult your primary care physician before making any changes to your diet or lifestyle. So let's talk about immunity. Human immunity is really complex. So how do we know that our immune system is strong or not? Well, actually, you can kind of tell if your immune system is weak. You've got lack of energy, your susceptibility to infections. If you hurt yourself, cut your fingers, your wounds don't heal very well, and you get viruses. But we can measure our immunity biometrically by the amount of white blood cells, which are called lymphocytes, and the amount of C-reactive protein in our blood. And I'm going to get back to that a little bit later in the podcast. We also know that the overwhelming number of those who have died from COVID virus have had comorbidities, such as diabetes, heart disease, or obesity. So my question today is, can we improve our immunity by improving our diet? Does that put us at less risk of infection, less sickness from virus, and less propensity to develop autoimmune disease? Let's find out. Firstly, what is immunity? Immunity is our body's innate ability to fight off pathogens such as infections and viruses. There are three types of immunity, and innate immunity is what we're going to be discussing today. That's the body's ability to protect itself. So our first line of defense is our skin. This is a physical barrier that protects our body from the outside world. We also have protection in our saliva and our gastric juices in our stomach that kill off antigens and pathogens in the food that we eat. And just so that you know, a pathogen is a bad guy and an antigen is the thing that attacks us, and it kind of hangs around with the pathogens. We also have an acute immune response. When we get injured, our body produces inflammation to heal the wound. This includes redness, swelling, pain, and heat. So think about spraining your ankle or getting bitten by a mosquito. This is your acute immune response. All those things are going in there to heal you in a quick and effective manner. The other two types of immunity are passive immunity, where you get antibodies to pathogens from your mother at birth and through her breast milk, and acquired immunity, where your body is exposed to an antigen and it remembers it so that the next time it encounters one, it has a means to fight it. And this is the case with past exposure to diseases and infections such as chickenpox, or via getting a vaccine so you don't get the antigen in the first place. So why are so many people who are dying from COVID have so many comorbidities. And comorbidities mean extra sicknesses, extra diseases apart from COVID. And I'm talking about things like heart disease, high blood pressure, metabolic syndrome, diabetes, all these things. So could it be that the population has comorbidities? After all, 868,000 Americans die of heart disease every single year. Irrespective of COVID, 70% of the population is overweight or obese. 34 million people have diabetes, and another 88 million people are pre-diabetic, which means if they don't change their lifestyle, they're going to get diabetes. So could it be that the population is already morbid? Or could it be that the people with these diseases have a suppressed immune system, and so then they're more likely to get a more severe form of this infection? I hypothesize that it's a bit of both. So let's look at the compromised immune system. How do we compromise our own immune system? Again, it's complex. I'm a nutritionist. I'm not a doctor. I'm just giving you the strategic view, the 30,000 feet view. I'm not going into the minutiae of your particular situation. Just think about what makes you run down and susceptible to colds or infections. 1, lack of sleep. 2, stress. 3, lack of exercise. 4, smoking. And 5, poor diet. Did you hear those things? Sleep, stress, exercise, smoking, diet. Can we change these things? I think we can. All of these things are changeable if we really want to be healthy. But we have to make the commitment to our health. We actually have to try to change these things. So let's look at a few of the things about what we can do to boost our immunity. The first one's lack of sleep. When you lack sleep, you can stress your entire body, which makes you more susceptible to infections. Your body has amazing cancer-fighting natural killer cells, and just one night of less than 5 hours of sleep can reduce these by up to 70%. So not getting enough sleep can also increase your lifetime risk of heart attack and make you more at risk of developing autoimmune diseases. And the good news is that your risks can be lessened considerably just by getting more than 6 hours of quality sleep per night. So when I say 6 hours of quality sleep, if you have a baby and you're getting woken up every 2 hours, that's not quality sleep. And I know there is nothing you can do about that except for maybe share the burden with your partner if you have one. So maybe you get up every 4 hours and your partner gets up the alternative 2 hours. That's one thing. I had a brand new puppy, and believe me, they're kind of similar. They get up all the time too. And for a very short period of time, I was having garbage sleep, and I really, really felt it. But if you don't have either a new baby or a new puppy or something that's keeping you up at night, a sleep routine can be very helpful. So choose a time each night to turn off electronics and have a bedtime routine that winds you down and gets you ready for some serious nighttime sleeping. I have a diffuser in my bedroom and I diffuse lavender, and that really helps me get to dreamland quickly. And, like you, I don't turn off my electronics quick enough. So that's one thing I'm going to do as well. What about stress? Stress can have a negative impact on our immunity because it increases inflammation. Chronic stress can increase your blood pressure, which in turn can contribute to vascular disease. Stress hormones can have deleterious effects on our metabolism and our reproductive system. So try to schedule in calm time away from stresses such as work or children or crazy puppies. Take time every day to do meditation, some journaling, or something that relieves your stress, such as gardening, cooking, or a hobby. And make sure when you're cooking healthy food. What about exercise? It is said been said many times that exercise is the best medicine, but many of us just don't get enough exercise. You do not need to be sweating it out in the gym for hours a day. Just a brisk 20 to 40-minute walk or a jog releases those happy endorphins, which are those feel-good hormones to help protect your immune system. Exercise also improves your cardiovascular system. It keeps you at a healthy weight and it reduces stress. So exercise daily for the win. Smoking. Dude, it's the 21st century. If you are smoking, you need to stop right now. You do not need me to tell you that. Just stop smoking. Okay, let's get to diet, because this is where I think you can really make great big changes and a huge difference. Fast food, processed food, food full of chemicals, food full of fat, salt, and sugar, devoid of real nutrients, puts your body into chronic inflammation, to the acute inflammation I talked about in the beginning. Chronic inflammation is when your body's defense systems are all ready for an attack that never comes. This increases your blood pressure and it's a stress response. You need to get down that chronic inflammation. Plants are the life of the earth. Plants are powerful powerhouses of healthful compounds. Fruits and veggies are chock full of vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, and fiber essential for a healthy body. Eat more plants to optimize your nutrition, lower your cholesterol, reduce your weight, and feel great all over. And of course, for the best bang for buck, eat the rainbow, eat all the colors. Fruits and vegetables of different colors have their own set of beneficial antioxidants and nutrients that help keep you in peak health. So just this year, I found the latest research I possibly could. A study of over 40,000 adults was done to see the effects of a whole foods, plant-based diet on immunity and the metabolic syndrome. Remember, I told you a couple of episodes ago that the metabolic syndrome is when you had all those things that contribute to ill health, and that includes inflammation, high fasting glucose, high blood pressure, and high lipids, high cholesterol. So this study measured the C-reactive protein and the lymphocytes, the white blood cells in the blood that I talked about at the start of this podcast. And researchers found that the people with the highest C-reactive protein, which is inflammatory, remember, and the highest white blood cells had the exercise. They also had the highest fasting blood glucose and the highest HbA1c. Now, the HbA1c is a measure that you get when you get your regular blood test, and it measures how high was your glucose in the last 3 months. So it tells you what you've been doing in the past. Now, conversely, they found that those on a whole food plant-based diet who exercised had the lowest C-reactive protein, which is the lowest inflammation, and they also had the lowest lymphocyte count, which is the lowest white blood count, which resulted in lower inflammation. And this correlates to a stronger immune system. So get your immune system strong by eating more plants. And I've said it before. Yes, I say go all out whole food plant-based. But if that is too scary for you, then just try eating less of the bad food and more plants. Less fast food, less processed food, less fried food, less food from packets in the freezer and packets on the shelves, and more food that comes from the produce section. Learn how to cook. Learn how to make a Buddha bowl, which is basically you get some things, some fruits and, sorry, not fruits. Well, you could do a fruit Buddha bowl. You get some veggies, some grains and some legumes. You cook them up. You chuck them in a bowl and you put some yummy sauce on top. Done. Easy peasy, bright and breezy. Okay, what about autoimmune disease? This is where the body thinks that its own tissues are foreign pathogens and it attacks itself. Now, some people think that you can't do anything about an autoimmune disease. I disagree. So, the autoimmune diseases I'm talking about are rheumatoid arthritis, type 1 diabetes, multiple sclerosis, lupus, Graves' disease, irritable bowel syndrome, celiac disease, some of them. Now, I want to reiterate right now that I'm not a doctor and that this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. And I urge you, if you have one of these diseases or you know somebody who does, do some research. And I'm talking serious research. Go on to PubMed, go on to Google Scholar and look at scientific research studies, peer-reviewed research studies, and have a look at the effect of diet on these diseases. And of course, if you have any of these diseases, you've got to speak to your own physician about this. So the standard American diet, whose acronym is SAD for a reason, has been implicated as a risk factor for many of these autoimmune diseases. And it's all because of the inflammation caused by the processed foods and the animal products. Of course, if you have celiac, you know it's gluten. And if you have irritable bowel syndrome, it could be the lack of fiber. And fruits and vegetables, whole grains, and legumes all have tons of fiber. Do not go out there and eat a whole foods plant-based diet right this second if you have irritable bowel syndrome without talking to your doctor. Because if you go full on cold turkey, hardcore, you may actually exacerbate irritable bowel syndrome. You need to do it bit by bit under guidance of your practitioner. And I highly recommend a book called Fiber Fueled by Dr. Will Bulwicks. He has a Facebook group called the Gut Health MD. Go check him out. Check him out. He's the man with all the answers on IBS. So I know it's not as simple as just changing your diet, but don't you owe yourself a fighting chance? At the very least, not filling your body with nutrients and not filling your body with non-nutrients and toxins, you'll be fueling it optimally by filling it with all those lovely nutrients, and you'll have a better chance of fighting your condition. So, as usual, I hope you found this helpful. I want you to ask me questions. I want you to leave me your comments. Please go to fabuloushealth.net and you can binge watch all of these fabulous health shows. And there's tons of other information on my website as well, including my course. It's called The Quick Road to Fabulous Weight Loss. And for November 2021, I'm offering you a 25% discount. So just use the code podcast at the checkout. Okay, thank you once again for listening. Tomorrow, I'm going to ask the question and tell you the answer. Is it safe to feed your kids a whole foods plant-based diet? Are they going to be getting all the proper nutrition for optimal growth? Find out tomorrow. All right, today, have a fabulous day and I'll see you then. See you later.